We live in an era that is going to result in a lot of people being displaced in the employment market, and that it should be of particular concern to anybody who is facing criminal charges, whether in the federal system or in the state system. And that's one of the things that I want to talk about today. Great leaders taught me that I need to focus on the result that I want to get. I need to, as Wayne Gretzky says, you want to skate to where the puck is going, not to where the puck is. Too many people who come into the system, the only thing they're focused on is sentencing or what's going to happen when they get to prison. But I would really encourage you to start very early thinking about the future, about the job market, about entrepreneurial ventures that you might pursue, about how the world is going to respond to you. My name is Michael Santos. I'm the founder of Prison Professors, and I was incarcerated for 26 years. So my story is really public on our website at prisonprofessors.org. And I've got a real depth and breadth of experience, not only of serving time in prison, but building businesses that generate millions of dollars in both revenues and profits that I've done since I've come home. That's the reason I built Prison Professors Ministry, or prisonprofessors.org, is kind of a personal ministry that I run together with my wife, Carol, whom I married inside of a federal prison, with hopes of helping more people in prison build a pathway that will lead to success on the other side of the journey. And, it's never too early and it's never too late to start, but you really have to go into this with your eyes wide open. It's one of the reasons I recommend that you never hire a prison consultant, because unless that prison consultant has got real depth and breadth of experience and a personal record of excellence, of really building something successful that you could document and look at his record, right? If he's done all of that, well, then, maybe it bears worthy time for you to talk to. But I will say that you first have to invest in yourself. You have to be the CEO of your life. You have to know how to identify a plan, put priorities in place, build tools, tactics, and resources, and then adjust that plan as necessary, but execute it every single day, because you're after a result. And the result that you're after is to get the highest level of liberty at the soonest possible time, but also to become successful on the other side of this journey. To be successful on the other side of this journey, you can't go into this with, happy talk and this visualization that everything is going to be wonderful on the other side of the journey, because it's tough. It's tough to build a career. We're in the era of artificial intelligence and robotics, and there are going to be many jobs that change or get displaced for people who don't have a felony background. So I'm a big believer in understanding that and then taking steps toward it. I'll always make 3 promises on our site. I'm never going to lie to you. I'm never going to ask you to do anything I didn't do. And I'm never going to charge anybody a penny for any of the information that I offer. And the only reason that I can do that is because I became financially successful based on the lessons that I'm trying to encourage you to learn. These aren't lessons that I created. They're lessons that I learned from great leaders who helped me develop strength and confidence and an ability to navigate the labyrinthine world of the federal prison system. You can do the same. But you've got to be willing to architect a plan, and that plan should include thoughts about employment on the other side of the journey. If you don't build that plan, I can assure you there's a homeless camp waiting for you. Okay, there are further problems with the system that is waiting for you. So one of the reasons that I built prisonprofessors.org and the profile section is because I want you to start sowing these seeds for success right now. I don't know at what stage you are receiving this information, if you're in custody watching these videos, or if you're on the internet watching these videos and going through our lessons. I don't know any of that, and I may never talk to you. But what I do know is you should start building a story. You should start building a body of work that advances you as a candidate for success. If you look at the Department of Justice's website, in fact, I could pull it up and just share my screen with you, right? If you look at the Department of Justice's website right here, right, you can go to these matters here that are called, let me just go to the DOJ office, I think it's called justice.gov. I just want to go to justice.gov, and you can see it for yourself, right? Every day, they've got a whole department that's focuses on putting up press releases, right? And these press releases are really just making it very difficult for this guy. Timothy Brandon Parsons, 38, of Louisa, Kentucky, entered a guilty plea, right? Guilty plea. They're going to try and define you by the tax refund or tax fraud scheme or whatever crime you convicted, or Kimberly-Clark Corporation to pay $40 million fine. Florida men sentenced to prison for scheme, right? All this lives in the era of AI. This has a long shelf life, okay? You've got to recognize how complicated it is to raise money, to get a job, to build a business, to do all of these things when you've got these headwinds hanging over you, unless you do something about it, right? If you do something about it, well, then, you'll have a different outcome, right? If you Google my name, right? Just Google my name, Michael Santos, right? And you'll see everything that's on there I control, right? I was in prison for 26 years, but there's Wikipedia articles, there's websites, there's all my books, there's all kinds of information demonstrating the pathway that I built when I came home from prison, and that led to my building businesses that have supported my wife and me, that has led me to generate enough money that I could launch a nonprofit and do all of this work for free. You can do the same, but you've got to start thinking very early about the career you want to build. And that's why I would recommend you to start off by just going to prisonprofessors.org and using it as a tool that will help you advance yourself as a candidate for more success on the other side of the journey. So write your own biography. I provide, if you just click the little button at the top right that says profiles, you can open a profile. You can write your biography of who you are, what you've learned from this experience, what you're doing to make things better. You should write a journal entry all the time that while you're in prison, document all of the ways that you've been self-directed and why your story and the record you've built makes you a great candidate to contribute to the world. I really encourage you to pursue a self-directed education program, which means you should read books and write book reports of what you've read. Why did you choose to read this book? What did you learn from reading this book? How will having read this book contribute to your success upon release? And most importantly, you should write a release plan. Make it an iterative plan. All of this stuff should be iterative. You could start right now, but while you're in prison, you want to have a body, a coalition of support, whether it's your family members or friends or others who will maintain your profile while you're incarcerated. So we built the profile system so that you could build your own kind of resume and start articulating a reason why you're a great candidate for new opportunities on the other side of this journey, but also so that I could use your profile. And what you do is I advocate to build more mechanisms for people to earn freedom through merit. That's what Prison Professors stands for. It creates a body of work that we could use to advocate for policy changes, legislative changes, more relationships with employers and the media, and try and get more people understanding that a person's experience with the criminal justice system doesn't have to be a scarlet letter that results in intergenerational cycles of failure. It should become something that opens opportunities for people to reconcile and atone and build a pathway to a life as a law-abiding, fully functioning American citizen. That is not going to happen by accident, and there isn't a prison consultant in the world that can do that for you. You've got to do it yourself. So I know that sometimes people want to talk to a mentor or a guide or somebody who's been there. I'm just not available to do that type of work because my real focus is changing the system. But if you do want to talk to somebody, I only recommend Justin Paperny. He hosts a webinar for members of our community every week. He's also a sponsor of prisonprofessors.org and a friend of mine. You could visit him at whitecollaradvice.com/nonprofit and get responses to your questions. But just remember, you are the CEO of your life. You need to start sowing seeds today for the fruit that you want to eat in the weeks, months, years, and decades ahead, and you can do it. There's always more opportunities in the future than in the past, and just remember, I believe in you. Now be cool.